This being your third season, it seems like you've been a lot more assertive or spicy this year.
Spicy? So? I'm not really spicy. That's good. I mean, I feel like for me, it's just my approach. It's just coming in and just trying to be dominant in anything the team needs. And so if that gives off spicy, which I really don't think it does, I feel like I'm like kind of quiet.
Spice?
No, I just not spicy. But yeah, I feel like that's just been my mindset, is just coming in and just being the player that I need to be for us. Whatever that looks like, it looks like.
What does a locker room mantra, a bruising blowout, and a playoff berth have in common? For the Indiana Fever, everything. Their 94-65 win over the Washington Mystics wasn't just a victory. It was survival and defiance rolled into one. At the center of it, Aliyah Boston dropped a line that has teammates buzzing and fans desperate to know more. What exactly did she say? And why is it the mindset carrying Indiana into the playoffs without superstar Caitlin Clark and 4 other injured players? Stick around, because this is more than basketball. If you're fired up for the postseason, drop Fever Playoffs in the comments. Let's go.
Playoffs! Dub!
That's how we clinch, baby!
We can't! W. Playoffs! Bow, bow, bow! Yeah! Playoffs, baby!
Mitchell in transition. Lays that up and in for our first bucket of the game. Sims off the cross again into the paint, lays it up and in.
How can a playoff team lose half its rotation and still find a way to survive? That's the story of the Indiana Fever this season. The roster didn't just take a hit, it was gutted. Caitlin Clark, the sophomore sensation meant to lead a new era, was gone after only 13 games with a torn groin. Sophie Cunningham out with a knee. Chloe Babai done with a knee. Sydney Coulson sidelined. Ari McDonald finished with a foot injury. 5 names, 5 contributors cut from the picture. When that many core players vanish, most teams collapse. For Indiana, it became their test.
When you think back to the beginning of the season, if someone were to tell you, like, this is where you would be, this is your team, like, at the end of the season, like, genuinely, what do you think the reaction would be?
Probably no stinking way. I don't think, thinking back to the beginning of the season, that anyone would have ever foreseen it going like this.
Clark's injury carried the heaviest blow. She was averaging over 16 points and setting the kind of playmaking standard that had Fever fans believing the postseason wasn't just possible, it was expected. When the announcement came that she was out for the season, the shock rippled not just through Indiana, but across the basketball world. Fans packing Gainbridge Fieldhouse were left wondering how this team could possibly keep pace without their brightest star. Analysts quickly lined up to declare the Fever's playoff hopes finished.
Things looked like it got harder. For us, it was about sticking together, and I think through everything, you're able to see that. Us play with joy, us play together, regardless of who's on that floor.
That's where Stephanie White's leadership made the difference. Even with her roster gutted, she didn't push panic buttons. She simplified the system, streamlined rotations, and got players focused on the foundation. White admitted the staff had to think outside the box to maximize what they had. She knew glossing over adversity would be a mistake. Instead, she leaned into it, reminding the group how tough they were physically and mentally, and the players followed.
For whatever reason, things happen, and you've got to continue to put your best foot forward. You got to continue to stay the course. This group has been forced to grow strong roots, and teams can go one of 2 ways when those things happen. You either use it to pull you together and as motivation to continue to get better and do it for one another and do it for your teammates that have been lost to injury, or it pulls some teams apart.
By August, doubts gave way to something else: resilience. What looked like the downfall of this team became its hidden weapon. No superstar to lean on? No problem. Every player learned to shoulder the weight. That next woman up mantra, born out of necessity, became their identity. And when they carried it into Washington, the toughness forged all season finally exploded into dominance.
When I look at this group, I'm just so incredibly thankful for the type of people that we have in this locker room, for the way that they have been able to continue to stay the course and bounce back and stay together, to pull for one another, to really be flexible enough to make space for different types of teams that we've had throughout the course of the year, and to continue to put ourselves in position.
How do you turn heartbreak into a 29-point demolition? The Indiana Fever answered that question on the road against the Washington Mystics with a win so commanding it felt less like a game and more like a statement to the league. This wasn't just any victory. It clinched a playoff return and proved that even without Caitlin Clark, the Fever have more than one engine driving them. Early on, though, it didn't look like a blowout. Washington came out strong, forcing tough shots and trading buckets to keep things close. Indiana's offense struggled to find rhythm, and you could sense the nervous tension. The Mystics had momentum, and with Clark, Cunningham, McDonald, Beebe, and Colson all sidelined, the question was real. Could Indiana hold its ground, or would this be the kind of night that slips away?
Inside Howard, off the window, the bucket, and the foul. Petty three, knocks it down again. Lost the handle, gets it back, gets right to the hoop, and she drops it home.
Fever 94, Mystics 65. Indiana's in. And now you know, despite all the adversity, this incredibly resilient Fever team is going back to the playoffs in 2025.
By halftime, it was competitive. But once the third quarter hit, everything flipped. The Fever locked in defensively, not just slowing Washington, but smothering them. The Mystics scored only 9 points in the entire frame. 9. That's not a slump, that's near total shutdown basketball. Passing lanes vanished, every matchup was contested, and suddenly Indiana looked like the hungrier team on both ends. From there, the lead ballooned past 20, past 25, eventually stretching to a 33-point gap at its peak.
And more than anything, y'all, big picture-wise, this group, there would have been so many teams that would have folded with all we've been through. And we just kept getting better, and we kept getting tougher, and we kept becoming more resilient, and we kept figuring things out, right? Like, we've had like 7 new teams throughout the course of this season. and no matter what, we've been flexible, we've been accountable, we've put each other in positions to be successful, and we've continued to put one foot forward and stayed the course.
The numbers told one story, but the plays told the rest. Natasha Howard rose exactly when Indiana needed her, pouring in a game-high 17 points and punishing Washington every chance she got near the rim.
You just don't know what she's going to do. I mean, she's so crafty with her shot decisions. Howard right to the hoop high out the window. And she's slicing through that paint. Angela back tapped it. It ends up with aerial powers. Inside Howard, off the window, the bucket, and the foul by the rookie all-star Sonia Citron. Howard quickly back the other way tonight, back at 35.
Aliyah Boston delivered her steady dominance once again, posting a double-double with 12 points and 11 rebounds, giving Indiana full control of the paint on both ends.
Dolson had to stay home because she had an occupied side. In terms of a cutter in her area, she stayed. Petty three, knocks it down again. Flip it. She's just such a solid stabilizer for Washington. Howard right to the hoop, lays it up and in. Fourth foul on Austin. Austin down low. Double tongue, drops back to Howard, who lays it up and in.
Just when it looked like the Fever needed extra scoring to seal it, Aerial Powers erupted off the bench with 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, becoming the spark plug that refused to let the energy fade.
Craves in there, get off and get loose. Mitchell three off the mark, long rebound ends up with Sims. It's Sims, nice pocket pass. Boston foul line.
The contributions didn't stop there. Lexi Hull was everywhere, diving for loose balls, pressuring ball handlers, and turning defense into transition opportunities.
Boston got that rebound. Here's Powers. Lost the handle, gets it back, gets right to the hoop. There she drops it home. 8 on the shot clock here for Citron. So re-screen that. And then they got the switch they want. Oh, couldn't get it in. Tough turnover there for Washington. The loose ball collected by Dolson, and Citron brings it over half. Powers in the passing lane. No one to beat. Lays it up and in. See if they can get back to that and connect plays and stack possessions with that level of effectiveness.
Shayla Petty delivered flawless shooting, going 3 for 3 from beyond the arc and finishing with 13 points. Every role player who stepped on the court made an impact.
Finishing plays. Here's Paul, guarded by Citron. Hanging, fading, kicks off the glass. My goodness.
Be better served. Maybe 4 out, 1 in, and have him take turns with it.
Oh. Clips them 3.
Even on an off shooting night, Kelsey Mitchell steadied the backcourt with 10 points and smart playmaking. By the final buzzer, 5 Fever players had reached double figures. That kind of balance is rare in the WNBA, but it was exactly what Indiana needed.
Sims is also back for the Fever. Here's Petty in the corner. He knocks it down.
And Jay Petty also spent time here.
Statistically, the turnover battle told the whole story. Washington coughed it up 22 times, and Indiana converted those mistakes into 27 points. The Fever, meanwhile, gave it away just 6 times all night, leaving the Mystics with no chance to regain momentum. It wasn't just that Indiana outscored them, it was the way they drained every ounce of hope by punishing nearly every error.
Alicia Clark and stayed seamless with the philosophy and culture and playing with joy as being the top tier point of emphasis there.
Mitchell in transition lays that up and in for our first bucket of the game.
So, who does the Fever turn to now with their star sidelined in street clothes? The answer is beginning to take shape, and it isn't just one player. Still, one name has emerged as the heartbeat of this team: Aliyah Boston. She's been front and center, and after the playoff-clinching win in Washington, her words showed why she might be the anchor this group needs most. That locker room mantra she dropped didn't just fire up teammates, it had fans clapping. Boston didn't just play big, she spoke big, and her message hit as hard as her rebounds.
I'm so proud of you guys. I mean, we owned them in the second half.
Hell yeah!
27 total points we had them to in the second half. 27 points off of turnovers?
Hell yeah!
And we took care of it, only 7 turnovers for us. A complete team effort, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double figures. I mean, it was just all really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Picture the locker room after that blowout. Sweat dripping, laughter echoing, relief mixing with raw emotion after the long road back. Caitlin Clark watches from the sidelines, while Sophie, Ari, Chloe, and Sydney remain stuck in recovery. But in the center stands Aliyah Boston, her words as powerful as her stat line. Never doubt yourself and what you're capable of. It wasn't just talk. You saw it in the way Lexi Hull dove across the floor. Shayla Petty lit it up from deep, and Aerial Powers brought instant fire off the bench. That mantra became the invisible force driving the Fever forward. Fans felt it too, spreading Boston's words across social media until they became a rallying cry. Never doubt what this team can do, even when the odds scream otherwise.
Aliyah, just through the adversity that you guys went through this season, especially maybe in August when people were going down left and right, did you guys feel like this was always possible to make the playoffs? Did you ever have moments of concern or doubt? And what allowed you guys to just keep, the eyes on the prize more or less? Yeah, I think, just being someone in this locker room, you never doubt yourself and what you're capable of, no matter what happens. I think the entire staff, up to the head, just made great decisions when people went down on who to bring in, the type of people to bring in. And that was really our mindset. We never doubted ourselves. We never doubted that we could be in the playoffs. Even if things looked like it got harder, for us, it was about sticking together. And I think through everything, you're able to see that, us play with joy, us play together, regardless of who's on that.
Boston's impact goes far beyond the box score or one fiery speech. A younger team might have lost focus after clinching its first playoff berth since 2016. But when asked about the locker room mood, Boston laughed and said, "Well, we did make a TikTok." Then, just as quickly, she shifted back into leader mode, reminding everyone the job wasn't finished and the playoffs still demanded preparation. That blend of joy and business is rare. It showed how she can balance the fun of the moment with the seriousness of the grind.
To get into their offense, you see Jade Melvin getting that defensive assignment on Mitchell. She picked her up pretty much 3/4 court.
Boston baseline jumper falls.
That's the advantage with Mitchell guarding her.
11-0 run right now for Washington. Boston got that baseline, misses, gets her own. And
Aliyah Boston is proving she's more than a rising star. She's the voice, the anchor, the steadying presence. If Caitlin Clark is the spark that turns heads, Boston is the foundation that keeps the house standing. As the Fever march into the postseason, her toughness and belief aren't just fueling this run, they're shaping a culture that could last for years. Here's the question no one's asking. What if Indiana's season of injuries was actually the best thing that could have happened? From the outside, it looked like disaster. 5 players gone to season-ending injuries, their superstar sidelined, and a roster shifting weekly. Yet here they are, 7th seed locked in, celebrating their first back-to-back playoff appearances since 2015-16, and still with a chance to climb to 6th depending on how results fall.
Would you describe the locker room after the game today, just being able to sell? Well, we didn't make a TikTok, so I think everyone is just super excited. Like you said, it hasn't been a perfect road. And so for us, it's enjoying the little moments while at the same time understanding we have another game on Tuesday and then we have to prepare for the playoffs. But I think just being in the moment and being where our feet are and kind of just enjoy.
The reality isn't easy. The Fever's likely round 1 matchups are brutal. Atlanta, Las Vegas, or Phoenix. All 3 are dangerous, and the best of 3 format means 2 of those games will be on the road. Heading into the playoffs without their top scorer would normally feel like a death sentence. But the Fever have already proven they can compete with each of those teams. They've not only taken games off them in the regular season, but done it with the same short-handed rotation we see now. For Indiana fans, what hits different is what's coming back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the first home playoff game since 2016, nearly a decade without postseason basketball in Indianapolis. And it's back because this roster learned how to win collectively. Their win over Washington showed exactly that. 5 different players hitting double figures in one night. That balance makes them unpredictable, harder to scout, and less reliant on a single star to carry the burden.
Got a piece of glass for the finish there. Knocked and seal inside, comes right back for the finish.
Ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. Okay, we got another one on Tuesday, and in the playoffs, ain't nobody gonna want to see us. Nobody. No one is gonna want to see us. That's right. Nobody. I'm not gonna sing it, but yes. Okay. So we continue to focus on competing to the standard, preparing to the standard. All right, and then we scare the hell out of this league. Hell yeah. Come on. Here we go. Hell yeah. 3, 1, 2, 3. Hell yeah.
You know, I feel proud of these women and what they've been able to continue to do. I feel proud that we continue to raise the standard for ourselves and for one another. But I'm also, you know, I look at this group and the roots that have been grown throughout the course of this season, and thinking about, you know, not just where we are now and the opportunity that we have in the playoffs, but where we're going to be in the.
Across this season, 18 different players suited up in a Fever jersey. That revolving door forged a roster that can plug anyone into big minutes without missing a beat. Lexi Hull and Shea Petty stepped into roles nobody expected. Natasha Howard and Ariel Powers brought veteran stability. Kelsey Mitchell and Aliyah Boston now carry playoff experience as top options, not just supporting pieces. In a way, Caitlin Clark's absence opened the door for her teammates to grow into bigger roles. And when she returns in 2026, she'll walk into a locker room with championship DNA already in place. The story flipped. The injuries everyone thought would derail Indiana instead built a playoff-ready group that looks more dangerous now than when fully healthy. This season tested the Fever in ways no one saw coming. Injuries stripped them down, but what remained wasn't weakness. It was grit, depth, and belief. For the first time since 2015, Indiana owns a winning record and a playoff berth. Proof that the identity forged under pressure is real. Fans should see this as the start of a new chapter, not just survival. The postseason is here, the momentum is real, and the foundation is stronger than ever. Which begs the big question, if this is what they can do with half a roster, what happens when they're whole again? If you're fired up for the playoffs, comment Fever Playoffs. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on screen, and we'll see you in the next one.